Hi guys, I'm Gaurav Kamdar, a fitness and nutrition coach, and today we are going to talk about carbohydrates. In my last video, I told you guys about how there are three major macronutrients: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, and carbs are the one responsible to provide us with energy. Now, carbohydrates are basically made up of one or more sugar molecules. Whenever we ingest any carb source, the body first breaks it down into its simplest form, that is glucose, and from there it is transferred to the bloodstream for further use. Now, how does the body use carbohydrates? Well, they can be used in three ways. Number one is by converting it into glucose for instant energy requirements of the body. Number two, once the energy requirements are met, it is stored as glycogen in our liver and muscles, and whenever there is shortage of carbohydrates, this glycogen is broken down into glucose. And lastly, once all the glycogen stores are fulfilled, body converts the remaining carbohydrates into fats. Now we know that 1 gram of carb provides us with 4 calories, but are all carbohydrates made equal? No. They are broadly classified into two categories: simple carbohydrates, which are made up of one or two sugar molecules like your table sugar, candies, honey, etc., or complex carbohydrates, which are made up of more than 10 sugar molecules like your rice, wheat, oats, pulses, etc. Now, how much carbohydrate should you eat? Well, anywhere between 40 to 60% of your calories can come from carbohydrates, but it will depend upon what is your fitness goal and your dietary preferences as well. But you should keep it in mind that majority of your carbs should be complex carbs, and you should be limiting your simple carbs to as low as possible. For a long time, carbs have been treated as enemies in the fitness industry. Let's debunk some myths about carbohydrates. Number one, people think that carbs make you gain weight. Well, that is so not true. Excess calories do. Whenever you eat in a calorie surplus, the body will convert those extra calories into fat, irrespective whether they are coming from carbohydrates, proteins, or fats. Number two, carbs increase your blood glucose, thus are a trigger for diabetes. Well, it is true that any carb source will spike your blood glucose levels, but that is body's natural process. That is when the hormone insulin comes into picture, and it ensures the uptake of this blood glucose by our cells. Diabetes, on the other hand, is caused by insulin resistance, and that is something we'll talk about in detail in the later chapters. So, no, carbs are not the enemy, their quantities might be. Remember, the dose decides the poison. If anything, carbs can make you perform better in the gym by providing you with sufficient energy. So that was it about carbohydrates. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you guys have in the comment section, and I'll see you next week where we'll be talking